Hola, hola, hola clase, bienvenidos a la clase de español. Hi everybody, welcome to Spanish class. More specifically, welcome to Spanish 7 of the 9Y program, Español 7. So my name is Miss Enriquez, Señorita Enriquez, por favor, en español. So I thought I'd put together a little video here that will guide you through what we do for Spanish class here at Argyle. Obviously, we're in a different format here. This is an online course, so there's a few things to know, a few expectations, guidelines, and of course, the technology issue as well. So I thought I'd guide you through it to get you off on the right foot here. All right, so let's get started. So first off, guys, I'm in charge of all three programs here at Argyle, the 3Y, 6Y, and 9Y program, which means there's a total of 18 Spanish courses. Phew! There are two different kinds of Spanish 7, so make sure you're clear as to which Spanish 7 level you are in. So it's really important when you come on to Blackboard for our online sessions that you know which course you're in and which program you're in. So right now you're currently registered in Spanish 7, the Language and Culture program, and the program is the 9Y program or the 9-year program. So you'll probably see it as 7-9Y. That is the course and the program. What does that mean? That means that you started studying Spanish in grade 4. Literally, the whole program will take 9 years to complete. That's why it's called 9Y or 9-year. So ideally, you would have started in grade 4, and this is where you are right now. You're technically in your 4th year of Spanish. You have 3 formal years of studying the Spanish language under your belt, because this level, as you've noticed, is quite intermediate, and we'll look at it closely in a second. And if you're planning to go ahead and finish the entire program, oh, that's too far. there you go. It goes all the way up to grade 12. That will be your 9th year. It's very advanced at that level. And you would actually finish with the Spanish 39Y course. That would be the final course in high school. But you're in 7-9Y, so what does that mean? Like I said, you're in your 4th year of study of formal Spanish education. This does not mean that you live in a home where they've been speaking Spanish for the last 4 years. That's not formal Spanish education. So formal Spanish education means you've studied the grammar, the vocab, you've taken other courses. Ideally, you've taken 4-9, 5-9, and 6-9 Y with throughout the Spanish program. That would be ideal. If you haven't, that's okay. We'll talk about what options are available to you. So also, yeah, you've had quite a bit of exposure or a lot of exposure to Spanish, either in class or whether you've lived in a Spanish-speaking country, things like that. So you're very comfortable with the sounds of Spanish, with how the language works. So first off, right now, pause. If you meet all these 3 criteria, that's fantastic. If you don't, you need to contact me right away via email or give me a quick phone call or pop by the school. I love meeting all my students in person rather than online. That's always a nice refresher. So you can always swing by the school so I can chat with you a little more about your background. And guys, this is not a problem. If you're in the wrong level, don't freak out. It is not a problem whatsoever. In fact, it happens most of the time in September. I'm used to having to move my students around. That is something I don't mind doing, but it is very, very important that I find the right place for you to make sure that you're successful. So if you don't meet these criteria, or you only meet 1 or 2, or if you're just simply unsure, you're like, you know what, Miss Enriquez, I'm really not sure if this is the right level, can you double check? Then absolutely make sure to contact me right away, and I'm more than happy to find the right place for you. Okay, so if you do meet all 3 criteria, let's keep going. What to expect in this course? Well, first off, it is a full year course. All language courses, their curriculums with Edmonton Public have been designed to take an entire year. Expect roughly about 3 hours of work each week, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more. And remember, guys, you're not in class 3 times a week. This is independent, or this part's independent. So make sure you're keeping up with the amount of hours on your own, making your own deadlines, structures, things like that. Remember, everybody will be working at a different pace. So again, it's your responsibility to make sure you keep on top of your schoolwork. So a good way to judge it is to know know that you should expect roughly 3 hours of work each week. So that's a good way to monitor it. How the course actually works, well, first off, you will watch an instructional video. There will be one for each set of assignments. So watch the video, complete the written assignment, complete the verbal assignment. Okay, these instructional videos, guys, what happened was that I have a lot of students, as you can tell, with a lot of courses, and they also have very different backgrounds. So some students are in school full-time, some are working full-time, some are going to school and working, some have volunteer, some don't live in the province, things like that. So it's almost impossible for me to catch all my students for an hour. So what I've done is that I've taken what I normally would have taught in class, the instructional part, and I've made videos on my own time. So you can watch those videos on your own time. So whenever is most convenient for you. That way you can see the PowerPoints, you can see all the information you need. In these videos, I go through your vocab, your grammar, I explain your projects to you, I go over assignments, everything that you need to know is in these videos. That's why it's really, really important to watch them seriously. Please don't just kind of turn them on in the background and flop on the couch and stare at the screen. You will not get the information that you need that way. You need to be watching it as if I'm actually speaking to you in that moment. So always have a notebook out, jotting down notes, or have a separate document open on your computer where you can type up notes. And again, watching it as much as you need to really understand that. Also writing down any specific questions that you might have, any specific areas of the video that don't make sense that you would like me to go through with you. Again, it's totally up to you, and it's your responsibility to go through it carefully and to ask me any questions if you need to. So once you're comfortable with the video, the second step is to go onto Google Classroom, which I'll show you all in a bit, and that's where you complete your written assignments. Your written assignments are usually either worksheets or projects, and they are all submitted on Google Classroom. The last bit are your verbal assignments. So those you do have to come to class, you sign in on Blackboard. Again, I will show you that in a moment, and you need to interact with me directly to complete your verbal assignments. Okay, guys, this is really, really important. I think a lot of people think that this course is a correspondence course. This is not correct. This is an online course, which means you will have to do more than simply complete your worksheets. You have to do the verbal components as well, which means you absolutely need to speak to me in Espanol to get a final grade. On that note, you need to make sure you have a working mic. Most laptops nowadays come with mics. You can buy them separately to connect into your computer. Whatever you need to do, again, to speak Spanish in class. And you need to be doing this on a weekly basis. So every single week you check in to speak in Spanish with me. And guys, that's basically a big, if not the majority of the course. So keeping that in mind, the written assignments are not the majority, the verbal assignments are. So really important that you have a mic ready to go. Like I said, there's no set class time. There will not be one full hour when you need to come and listen to me speak and do anything like that. However, how it works is you watch the videos on your own time, you complete the written assignments, and then anytime between Thursday and Friday from 9 a.m. till 12 p.m., you sign in through Blackboard and you complete your verbal assignments. So you can come on Thursday at 9, you can come Friday at 11:02 if you want, you can come Thursday one week and Friday the next, or you can come Thursday and Friday both in 1 week. It's totally up to you. Some students come in right quickly and they do their presentations. They're only there for a few moments and they sign off, and I check them off for the week, and that's fantastic. Some students come both days. They spend several hours with me, whether they want to practice or have their work edited. Again, it's totally up to you. That's acceptable as well. You do not need to let me know ahead of time when you're coming. You simply sign in and I will already be there online waiting for you, waiting for all my students, and ready to answer any questions, give extra support, and again, check you off for your weekly assignments, your weekly verbal assignments. So again, Thursday and Friday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. are the class times for 7-9Y. Okay, so that takes care of the format. These are the programs that we use for this course. So those of you who've taken Spanish with me before at Argyle are probably expecting Moodle. We will not be using Moodle this year at all, so you don't have to worry about checking it at all. We will be using Google Sites, Google Classroom, and Blackboard. That's it. So first off, Google Sites, you access it through School Zone. So you go to School Zone, Apps, and Sites. I'll show you that in a moment. Then you will be taken to what I'm calling the launching pad or the starting point. And literally everything you'll need will be on this launching pad. So it looks roughly like this. Sometimes I tweak it a little bit, so it might look a little different, but for the most part, it will look like that. Notice it says a 9Y program. So if you're ever taken to one that says 6Y or 3Y, you've been directed to the wrong one, and I have to fix that. So make sure you double check, make sure you're going to the 9Y program. The first thing you need to know right here is Blackboard. So you literally, all you have to do is click on that picture, the little icon, and you will be taken to the Blackboard sessions. So that's where you do all your verbal assignments with me. That's where you can come speak to me directly for any questions or concerns you might have. Remember, when you sign in, it will ask you for your first and last name. I ask that you do put your actual first and last name. If you put anything else, a nickname or anything funny, as much as I appreciate it, I will ask you to sign out and sign back in. Guys, that's the only way I can tell who is who, so I won't actually know who you are unless you put your first and last name. And I do have many students with the same first name. That's why it's really important that you add your last name as well, or your last initial if you're not comfortable putting up your last name. That's totally fine as well. It's your last initial, but make sure you put it as accurately as possible. Secondly, Google Classroom right here. Again, all you have to do is click on that icon. You'll be taken to the Google Classroom site. Make sure once you get there, you go to classwork page. I put a little note under the icon just to remind you. Once you're there, you'll see all the instructional videos for each unit. You'll see all the units, and of course, you'll see all the worksheets and projects attached to each video. Next, who's your teacher? So if you ever want to know a little bit about me, especially at the beginning, what my background is in teaching, what kind of teacher I am, what to expect, my teaching style, what I expect from my students as well, I made a little video there that you can check out. Again, all you have to do is click on the icon and it'll take you to the YouTube video. And lastly, of course, the welcome video right there, which you are watching right now, and I posted anyway, just in case you needed to rewatch it or go back and double check some of the information. All right, looking a little closer now to Google Classroom. Like I said, this is where you hand in all your written assignments and projects. There's the icon. Sometimes the background is green, but it's all the same thing. It looks roughly like that. Again, sometimes I tweak things. Once you scroll down, well, scroll, but first you need to make sure you go to classwork. So that's where you want to go, classwork. That's where you'll see the videos, the assignments, and the worksheets. And guys, make sure you're submitting things right here on Google Classroom. Please don't share it with me or send it to me via email. This is where we keep everything nice and neat for your records. So make sure you're submitting assignments here as well. If you come across any problems, just let me know. And if we need to, we'll do it through email or another way. But for the most part, you should be handing things in directly on Google Classroom. Next, Blackboard, that's where you come to class for your online sessions to complete your verbal assignments or to ask questions, discuss assignments, etc., etc., etc. So in the previous years, we have used different icons, so you might see all three of these. We're trying to use just this purple one here in the center. Hopefully that's the only one you see, but in case you see the other two, don't be alarmed. It all means the same thing. All right, so School Zone, this is what School Zone looks like. You sign in using your username, your password that you were given when you first started with Edmonton Public Schools. So it does travel with you from school to school, so don't worry about getting it changed or anything. You already know your School Zone information. Go ahead and sign in. If you're unsure, go ahead and contact the main office at the school and they'll be able to give the information to you. Once you're in, this is what it roughly looks like. This is a teacher view, so it might look a little different for you, but mostly the same. This is where you see the school news, any class reminders that I have for you, I will post here. Of course, your report cards, your interim marks are also on here. And then once you go up here to apps, this is where you're taken to sites. So you click on here where it says sites, and that's where you're taken to your launching pad, and you're all set and ready to go. Okay, so school zone, sign in, go to apps, and then to sites, and then you'll be off and running. All right, lastly, to wrap up, I've said most of this already, but just to recap, steps to take in order to be successful in this course. Number one, always, always, always watch the instructional video first, guys. I can't stress how important that is. And remember, I can see how long you spend on each video, so make sure that you're watching them from the beginning until the very, very end. Sometimes I leave the most important things, the most important recaps at the end, and some students just kind of watch half of it. Yeah, you don't want to do that. You'll only make things way more difficult and confusing for yourself. So make sure you're watching the videos and you're watching them completely. Number two, complete the corresponding assignments to each instructional video before moving on to the next video and assignments. So remember, everybody will be working at a different pace in all the courses, which means some people will be behind you and some people will be ahead of you. So if you're working on a particular unit and you see 2 or 3 more units pop up, please don't start jumping around. Don't worry, focus on the unit that you were on, finishing the assignments in order. It's very, very, very important. Languages are usually built in a way where one concept leads to the next. So in a beginner level, for example, we start with the Spanish alphabet, then the sounds of Spanish, then words, then simple sentences, then complex sentences, and eventually independent conversations. So if you start jumping around and you're trying to do independent conversations before you understand all the steps beforehand, again, you'll just make it very difficult and complicated for yourself. No one else, just yourself. So make sure you're doing things in order. Next, you need to attend a class a minimum of once per week. Guys, this is a requirement. That's right. There were no requirements in the past. Well, there were a long time ago, but there haven't been for the last few years. We're moving towards requirements again. So all I ask is that you attend class a minimum of once per week. So anytime during those class times that I mentioned on Thursday and Friday, it doesn't matter which day. Again, all you have to do is make sure you check in with me once per week, no matter what. Number 4, complete all written assignments on Google Classroom. Number 5, complete all verbal assignments on Blackboard. And just a heads up, make sure you dedicate all of January to the midterm task and all of June to the final task. So they're not exams or tasks, they're big projects really. But they are quite large. I will be there every step of the way. They're a great way to bump up your mark, to really get some completion marks in there, and to really kind of review and polish off everything that we've done previously, all the concepts that we've done previously. So it's actually really, 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 really important that you do all your assignments before January and then all your secondary assignments before June, so you can dedicate each month to completing those tasks. Guys, again, everybody will be moving at a different pace, but if you wait too long and you try to do it all in January or all in June, including previous assignments, I can promise you right now it will be way too much work, way too overwhelming, and there will be a good chance that you don't make that final deadline, right? And remember, in June, that deadline is out of my hands. I won't be able to help you past that. So that's why I'm letting everybody know right away in September. Make sure you plan accordingly so you can dedicate all of January to the midterm task and all of June to the final task. Okay, guys, that's it for me. Now that we have a plan, let's do this. So a little heads up, you will see a lot of Pixar and Disney cartoons like this because I really love them, especially these penguins. Plus, it makes me feel like we have a plan. Well, we do have a plan, and we're all really excited to get to work. Yeah. So lastly, I just want to wish you best of luck, buena suerte, and I would also love to wish you éxito en este nuevo curso, so success in this new course. Hopefully you have enough information to get you started. Again, if you don't, that's totally okay. I'm more than happy to help you out via email, over the phone, in person at the school, or of course on the Blackboard sessions. All right, guys, I look forward to seeing you in class. Gracias. Adios.